And in less than 5 hours, history will be made at the Stade France as New Zealand or South Africa become the first 4-time winners of the Rugby World Cup. But here at home, the Springbok fans are already at various fan parks awaiting 9 p.m. Newzroom sports reporter Yolulwe Qoshe is at Pirates Sports Club in Greenside, Johannesburg. Yolulwe, I see the fans are already out in their numbers already. The few that you've spoken to, what sense have they given you about tonight's World Cup final?
Well, a very good afternoon to you, Lebo, as well as to the viewers, of course. I'm not too sure if you keep up with the urban language, Lebo, but the South African youth always uses a particular term, and it's called Le weekend is a weekend in Kulu, which roughly translates to this weekend is the mother of all weekends. But one thing about that phrase, Lebo, is used every weekend. So you end up asking yourself, is this big weekend ever going to come? But I'm pleased to say to you, Lebo, it is just like Sports Minister Zizu Kodwa, it just arrived. And here we are about to witness a huge weekend which will, of course, see the likes of the Springboks taking on the All Blacks in the final of the 2023 Rugby World Cup. Now, this is a massive fixture, Lebo. This is the wildest dreams of a man called William Webb Ellis, the person who started the game of rugby. He picked up the football, and everyone was asking, what is he doing? And just like that, the game of rugby was started. When he started this game, a final between the most successful teams in rugby history was his wildest dreams. Now, this game is going to be between the two most successful teams in rugby history, teams that will be looking for an historic fourth victory at a World Cup. Now, you did mention the fans at Pirates Club. They are no strangers to having a packed atmosphere full of fans. And one person who's been here to oversee all of that throughout the World Cup is one of the organizers, Terry Powers. Terry, thank you so much for your time. Let's speak about this event. I know that the gates opened at 2 o'clock. When you were opening the gates, how big was the queue outside?
So I think luckily enough, because we decided to do ticket bookings, it wasn't as frenetic as it was last week. So yeah, I mean, the crowds have been coming in quite swiftly, and within 20 minutes there were about 100 people, and all of a sudden you have this. So yeah, came in quite swiftly. Yeah. And
how long has this fan park been open for during the course of this particular World Cup? Was it from the first game? Did you start in the Rugby Championship even before the World Cup? How long have you guys been hosting such events here at Pirates Club?
So essentially, we only really do this when there is such a big event like the Rugby World Cup. So we pretty much opened it the first game. The pool games, we kind of kept it quite low-key. But the moment we went to the quarterfinals, we decided to get the bigger screen. We had a smaller outside screen. But yeah, we've been a fan park since the beginning of the Rugby World Cup, and we've loved it.
And having had that since the beginning of the World Cup, you've seen various amounts of crowds. I'm sure they probably differ. But which one of the crowds sticks out for you the most? I don't want you to say today you'd be cheating. Of course, it's a huge final. Let's talk about any other time before this final. I'm sure this is not even capacity yet, in fact.
No, definitely not at capacity yet. We still have people that have booked that still need to come in, which is great. And then, but last week definitely stuck out in my mind, because the moment the crowd cheered when we scored or when we, did something great, it felt like the ground was rumbling. So yeah, I think last week, although it was a little bit too many people, but it was sensational. And just thinking about it now, I get goosebumps. Yeah.
And for you, I'm sure you have one eye on the rugby, one eye on the people behaving themselves, and I don't know if you've got a third eye, but you've got to keep making sure that everything you organize came to fruition, right? Tell us about how strenuous that is for you leading up, like during the week leading up to this particular game. What are some of the things that you have to make sure are in order before all of this happens and everyone is excited watching the Springboks here?
Well, it's a massive team effort from many different places. So SAB definitely, obviously with them supplying us the bench sets and all that sort of stuff in the bars, outside bars. But mostly, it's our team, and it's our team within Pirates, and they've done an amazing job. From ordering everything for the stock to making sure that we have the tickets, which we've never done before at Pirates. But because of last week, we just thought, whoa, we just need to be able to have a bit of control. So yeah, but it's taken a lot, but it's well worth it. You know, it's worth every single day and every single phone call and every, you know, with all the security and the extra things that we need, like ablutions and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, but it's been worth it. It's definitely been worth it.
And I'm sure when it comes to events like this, it's no secret that beverages such as water and cool drinks are not the order of the day or the night. It's all about the other beverages that get people into their particular mood. How much of that do you have to stock up? How much is there? What information can you give us about the stock? I saw you're busy. Before I came to speak to you, already making sure that everybody who orders something, they get it. How much is there for the people that are here or still coming?
Look, I mean, we've had to really think about it simply because of last week. Luckily enough, we didn't run out last week. But yeah, we've had to definitely pretty much almost triple our normal orders just to ensure that everybody has what they need. And that does include water and Coca-Colas. But yeah, definitely tripled up and, you know, a massive amount where we've just stocked everywhere in the club just to be able to ensure that we, you know, have it ready for today.
And probably putting you on the spot, what is your favorite memory of these fan parks during the World Cup so far? What are some of the things that you've taken away and said, okay, because I saw this and that tonight was a good day at the office? Are there some things that spring to your mind that make all of this a success that you can remember?
I'd like to say it was something different to what I've already said, but definitely last week with the crowd and the moment, you know, South Africa won, and when we scored that try, and, you know, it was the kicker, it was just, like I say, the ground literally rumbled and trembled under me. So I think out of all of it, but pretty much everybody's had a good time, and that for us is the most important thing here at Pirates, is that everybody that comes here has a great time. But yeah.
Thank you so much for your time, Terry. I'll be catching up with you. There was, of course, Terry Powell, one of the organizers for this particular event. Lebo, I'm sure on the other side you can see some rugby posts. So I'm going to give it back to you right now. I just want to remind myself if I've still got it. Back to you in studio.
Thank you very much, Yolulwe. Do that because it looks like plenty of fun there. The fans have come out much earlier than I even anticipated. Hopefully they'll be able to see much of the game a bit later on. Remember that kickoff is at 9 o'clock, New Zealand, South Africa. And we do have the president of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, who's arrived in France, has met up with the team, and it will be the second time he lifts that trophy if it does happen come 10 p.m. tonight or just after 10 p.m. tonight, having done so back in 2019 when we won it in Japan.